Yo, what up guys, I'm Sammy and welcome back to the Soul Brothers channel, and this is my performance review of the Anta KT7. So this shoe is going for 150 bucks. Borderline kind of like top tier pricing, you know, I would say it's more mid-range. So if you guys do want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box, but let's get started right away with the Tracciones. In this colorway, we got a fully translucent outsole. It's kind of like an off-white color, which, you know, it definitely did yellow a little bit more here in the forefoot and here in the heel, I would say. But anyways, how is the bite? The bite is extremely good. If you're playing on a clean court, you're gonna be fine. It has a very nice and loud squeak as well. And just a very consistent and very hard bite if you're playing on a clean court. If you're playing on a dusty court, it's a little bit weird, right? It's really hard to wipe off the dust. You know, I was just like really wiping, and like once I did all of that and wiped off all the dirt and debris off of the outsole, then I had really good stops. Also, it didn't really pick up dust that quickly, so which is a good thing, I'd say. But again, you know, when the dust did build up on the outsole, I really had a hard time wiping off the outsole. So that did bother me a little bit when I was playing, you know, because usually most of the time in all the other shoes, I just do like 1 or 2 wipes and it's clean and I'm good to go, right? But in this shoe, when I was playing on a dusty surface and I was sliding out a little bit, I kind of had to stop and then really wipe off the dust on the outsole, and then I had really good stops. So I mean, if you're okay with that, you should be fine, but just remember it might kind of like hinder your play a little bit in games. As far as the outsole goes, I mean, it seems really durable. The grooves are super thick, very hard rubber, and also the grooves are deep, so I feel like you should also be okay for outdoor use. So from my experience, I really had no issues, you know. Clean court, I was good. Dusty setting, like I said, it was kind of hard to wipe off, which was kind of annoying. And also when I wiped, it would bite through that dust until dust really got stuck on the outsole. Alright, moving on to the heel to toe transition. Is pretty damn, well, actually really smooth, right? So here in the heel, as you guys can see, it's super caged, which kind of sucks, but it's a very soft cage. As you guys can see, just pressing it with my finger, it actually does kind of like bend in on itself a little bit. The plastic looks pretty damn hard, but when you feel it, it's actually not. So it allows the heel to compress a good amount. We have a pretty nice curved shape here in the heel as well. So very smooth here in the heel. And then once you come here into the forefoot, we have a very nice curved shape, which I really like. And look at that, a very flexible forefoot as well. So when you're doing heel dominant strides down the court, you're gonna be good to go. It's super smooth. And also, as you guys can see, a very nice premium touch here in the middle of the outsole. We have a carbon fiber miffed shin plate and also some plastic, which they're calling their 3D hug system. It pretty much just cages the outsole and also acts as a lateral counter and a heel counter as well. So there's that. Moving on to the cushioning setup. So it looks like Boost and also looks like Boom. You know, like Boom cushion from Leaning. It's probably kind of like the same material, but maybe a different blend or composition of the actual chemicals to make this midsole. But anyways, they're calling this Nitro Speed, right? It's full length, it's super thick, and it's really nice. So when you first look at it, you're like, oh, it's super thick, so I feel like court feel isn't going to be very good. And also it's super caged, so it's probably not going to be very nice, and it's probably not going to have a lot of compression, right? That's what I thought. But when I was playing it, I found that that's actually not how it feels, right? So there is a crazy offset. Here in the forefoot, you're really low to the ground, and here in the heel, you're super high up off the ground, right? So I feel like there's some people that might not like that feeling. I personally don't really mind it all too much. I feel like it kind of keeps me on my toes and it feels pretty nice. You know, most running shoes have a pretty high offset, so I feel like most people wouldn't mind it, and also it's definitely something that you can get used to, right? But damn, like this cushion is super soft. So first of all, step and comfort. Here for the insole, we have pretty much the Nitro Speed foam acting as the insole. Although it is pretty thin, I feel like it does improve the step and comfort. You know, it can feel a little bit of that compression, which feels super nice. And then, you know, you would think that because of this cage, there's not a lot of compression, but like I said, it's pretty soft and there's a good amount of compression like from the midsole, and you actually feel your foot digging into the Nitro Speed, which feels really soft and very comfortable, but also it's not like too much to the point where it's like too laggy. where you can also feel slow. It doesn't really feel like that at all. Impact protection is great, especially on heel strikes. It's soft, it's comfortable. You have good court feel, I guess, in the forefoot. Like I said, here in the heel, you do feel pretty high up off the ground. And overall, I really liked playing it. You know, when I was doing heel dominant strides, it felt great. I had a little bit of bounce here in the heel. When I was landing on my forefoot, it felt great for impact protection, also for heel strikes. And it felt responsive as well, you know, like I said, it wasn't too soft or anything, so I felt quick and light on my feet when I was playing it as well. So I feel like overall it's a very balanced cushioning setup. If you want something very comfortable and very soft, then this is like a great cushioning setup. And also here in the heel, I forgot to mention this in the first impressions, but you see this green foam, they're calling it the Smart Jam system, and this was also in the KT6. It's supposed to help with impact protection. I don't know, it's bottom loaded, I don't really think it does all too much. I felt mostly just the nitro speed, which was super nice. All right, moving on to the materials. So they're calling this the speed fiber material, which I don't know, like what does that even mean? Like, do you go faster because it's a speed fiber? I don't know. It's basically just TPU yarn that's woven together to create this material. And here in the forefoot, as you guys can see, we have some fuse as well. A good amount of fuse actually that covers a majority of the toe box, but it's not like super thick. And the material here in the toe box still feels extremely thin. And look at how soft it is. You know, look at how easily it's moved with my fingers. It conforms to my foot extremely well. And I really didn't have a problem with material quality at all. You know, it actually still feels very nice for quality. And also on foot, it feels great. You know, it's soft, it's thin, it conforms to your foot very well. It's also super supportive. There's not a whole lot of stretch to the material at all. And then coming here into the midfoot, as you guys can see, it's extremely thin as well. One thing I like about the tongue though is that it's pretty well padded. So here in the forefoot and in the midfoot, it feels extremely minimal. But then for comfort, you got a little bit of foam here in the tongue, and also foam, or I guess Achilles pads or pillows here in the ankle area. Also, one thing that I didn't kind of like catch in the first impressions is the material that's on the Achilles pads. Like, it reminds me of the Harden Volume 3 material for the lining. If you guys remember, if you feel the material going down, it's soft, but then when you go up, it feels a little spiky, kind of like shark skin, right? So I feel like that does help with containment. All right, moving on to the fit. So the fit is pretty much exactly the same as the KT6. It's very, very snug. I went true to size, and my toes pretty much go right to the edge of the shoe, which I really like. Here in the toe box, it's also pretty damn snug, and width-wise, I would say it's slightly narrow as well. Remember how I mentioned in the cushioning setup where there is a crazy offset, right? So the heel is significantly higher than the forefoot. So one thing that I noticed when I was playing in the KT7 was because of that offset, my foot would slide to the front of the shoe a lot. And when I was doing like forward movements and stopping, my toe, especially my big toe, would bang here into the front of the shoe, which I really didn't like. And it's not because the shoe is like short or anything. It's because of that offset, right? When I just put it on and kind of like just sit down, the fit feels really, really nice. But when I kind of like stand up and start walking and put my weight on the shoe, because of the offset, my foot kind of like slides forward, which, you know, when I'm just walking around, it's not a huge deal. But when I start playing and start like stopping like this, I definitely did notice that. So if you don't want that toe banging problem, I would probably suggest going up half a size. But if you want like a very snug fit and you don't think you'd mind the toe banging, then you should probably go true to size. Alright, as far as support and lockdown goes, support and lockdown was super good. For lateral containment, I had no issues. Here in the forefoot, you have a little bit of the caging coming up, acting as a sidewall, as well as here in the midfoot. Here in the heel, we have this plastic part, you know, the 3D hug system that's acting as a lateral cage, and there is an internal TPU heel counter. So lateral containment, you're very, very good. Also for lateral stability, look at that. A super wide base. You have a crazy wide outrigger as well, so you're gonna be good to go for lateral stability. And also for ankle support, you should be good. So coming from someone who likes low tops, you know, I like to have ankle mobility. I really didn't mind it all too much because I don't think it restricted my ankle movement that much. I definitely did feel a little bit of restriction, but I don't think it was to the point where it's super uncomfortable and I didn't enjoy it. So for me, it was okay. If you want really good ankle support, this probably isn't the best option, or you can probably add an ankle brace to the shoe as well. All right, moving on to the ventilation. It's not the hottest shoe and it's not the coolest shoe, right? So for airflow, there's really no airflow because of this fuse material here in the toe box. And also like throughout this entire upper, there is a good amount of fuse, which doesn't really let a lot of air through the material. But like I mentioned, it is a very thin material, so it doesn't really retain heat all too well, which of course is a good thing for ventilation. So I would say the ventilation is just average in the KT7. All right, as far as the aesthetics go, I really like it. It grew on me a lot. I love this colorway as well. It looks white when you kind of like glance at it, but when you look closer, this entire upper and this entire shoe is more just like an off-white color, which I really like. And also the overall silhouette looks great as well. So tell us what you guys think of the aesthetics down in the comment section below. So wrapping things up, the KT7 is a solid shoe. I really enjoyed playing in this. The only thing like that kind of bothered me was the toe banging, and I guess like the high top, and that didn't really bother me all too much, and the toe banging didn't really bother me all too much either. Like pretty much everything else about this shoe is amazing. Traction is really good, I guess, besides on dust, but if you wipe you should be fine. Cushion is something that I really enjoyed. It's probably one of my favorite parts about the shoe. Material feels great, very thin. Oh, I forgot to do the weight. Let's see the weight of the shoe. It's 14.11 ounces, and let's check the left pair. Probably around the same, 14.25 ounces. So it's definitely heavy. It's a heavy shoe, but it's not like, you don't feel slow at all when you're playing in it. And you guys are probably thinking like, oh damn, like 14 ounces, that's pretty damn heavy. It definitely is. But when I was playing in the KT7, it wasn't really something that I noticed all too much. You know, like I said, materials are super thin. Cushion was great, has a nice little rebound or bounce back as well. And I felt really quick and very responsive when I was playing it, but also it felt very comfortable, which usually isn't something that like goes together. You know, like shoes that are very light and very minimal, like for example, like the Curry 8 or the Giannis Immortality, it's not like super comfortable like the cushioning setup. You know what I mean? It's a very responsive feeling shoe and you feel very quick. On the other hand, there's shoes kind of like the Cosmic Unity, where that shoe feels really comfortable. You know, the material is a little bit thicker. You got that full length zoom stroll unit, but it doesn't feel like super responsive, right? But the KT7, it feels very comfortable because of the cushioning setup, but also you feel very quick because of the thin material and the good traction. So the KT7, I feel like most people will enjoy. Like if you're a guard, you should be fine with this shoe. If you're a big dude, you want support and good cushion, you should also be fine in this shoe as well. So the KT7 is pretty much the sexy time, and it will definitely be in my rotation. I don't know if it'll be in my rotation like a lot, but I definitely will have it in my rotation. But anyways, that about concludes this review of the KT7. Again, if you guys want to cop, I'll leave a link in the description box, but that's it. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.